Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To help keep this podcast free for you, we're partnering with Stokes Seeds. The 2017 Gardening Guide catalogs are hitting mailboxes everywhere. Request your catalog today online at stokeseeds.com or view virtual catalogs online. This fully secure site makes it easy to order your free catalog or your seeds or gardening accessories. More than just a listing of vegetable and flower seeds, Stokes Seeds' website is a complete resource center with valuable information on starting seeds, planting, and harvesting, plus all the gardening accessories you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Get growing with Stokes. We'll have more from Stokes Seeds in the next few weeks. Right now, today's question. And Gary, we did get a question about a living Christmas tree here. Somebody was looking for an evergreen that they can use for a Christmas tree, but then when they plant it out in the yard, they really don't want it to get more than 30 or 40 feet tall at the most. It'll be for the front corner of the house, and they would appreciate any suggestions you may have.
Yeah, and that is something you can find, particularly at the garden centers. And again, talk to an expert there, and they can help you. But you'll find potted or balled and burlapped B&B trees, and you'll find a range of from hemlocks to blue spruces, green spruces, maybe some firs. And so those would generally all be suitable. 30 to 40 feet is pretty large, so what I'm thinking is maybe they'll actually look for something a little bit more dwarf variety, not super, only 3 feet or so, but somewhere that's maybe a variety of those plants I mentioned, the firs and the spruces, but where the ultimate height of the plant is not as tall, and maybe it's 25, 30 feet. And in terms of planting it, not too close to the home. You see a lot of trees and things planted very close. So it may look a little odd to begin with, but go the full width of what the ultimate width of the plant's going to be away from the house. So it's hard to say, specifically, but 10, 15, 20 feet away, keep that in mind versus having the plant grow too close to the house and you'll have to remove the plant in a few years. But junipers, some of the upright junipers, or some people know them as cedars, and then the firs, and also, I think, as opposed to the blue spruce, I think I like just some of the plain green spruces, and they are a really nice shape to them, and make a great Christmas tree, and then can go outside. And you just have to wait for a little bit of the thaw in the weather, and we often get that in the winter. We can get some more milder spells, or you have to kind of hold on to that early springtime. And
how long do you recommend that you can actually keep one in the house decorated?
Yeah, the shorter time, the better, just maybe a week or so. I think the spruces would hold up a little longer. Those green spruce I was mentioning, you could probably push those a little longer, 10 days or 2 weeks. Things like hemlock and firs, with I'd say finer needles in a way, you're going to see those drop off and maybe be a little more affected by the dry lack of humidity in the home. So the firs and the spruces, I think, have a tougher needle, kind of waxy coating, and they will hold up better.
Now, I know in the past, I believe Fred has recommended taking something like a newspaper and wetting that down and putting it around the ball. How would you treat the actual ball of the tree in the house?
Yeah, I think that moisture, newspaper could work, maybe even some, what we call some moss, some sphagnum moss, or what generally you want to do is be able to put that root ball into a large container. And if you can't put it in a full-sized container, maybe a tray, kind of a trough, a tray you might use out in the yard, for almost like a builder's tray for concrete mixing and things. And so it's wide, and you won't cover the whole root ball, but you can have water in the base of that at times to help the plant take it up. And then just a point on your cut Christmas trees, of course, you've got to keep the water on those, too.
Yeah, they take a lot.
Yes.
Definitely. And then are there any varieties that you think you might want to stay away from in Ohio, especially for, making it through a winter time?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to do it as an indoor Christmas tree, then probably the firs and the hemlocks, where the shedding of the needles would be a problem. And I think otherwise, the pines, I think they can kind of dry out to brown the needles, so maybe less on the pines and stick with the firs and the spruces.
And I know one thing that Fred sometimes talks about is if you are planning on getting a balled and burlap tree that you want to put outside, dig the hole now,
right? Yes.
Before it gets too frozen.
Yeah, that's a great point. Is have your location picked out and have the hole dug and leave it, or certainly have the soil all loosened and mixed in there ready, so it'll be real easy to put that plant in. Put a couple inches of mulch on top, and depending on the moisture in the ground, whether you need to water or not, but generally give it a good watering, a good soaking, get it established in the ground.
And of course, make sure you've got someone with a strong back who can get that tree out there for you, because those are really heavy.
Yeah, and you may need a wheelbarrow or a dolly, kind of a tree dolly or a cart to come into your house and help move that plant out. You can tie up the branches, most trees. You could put some string or rope around and make it more compact when you need to move it. And you could temporarily, if needed, even put some burlap or kind of shade cloth screening around the plant. And the reason for that would be that freeze-dried effect I was talking about, where keep some of the cold wind off of that plant when you first plant it, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the podcast. Remember, your 2017 Gardening Guide catalogs are available now. If you want one delivered to your home, go to StokesSeeds.com. For the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to StokesSeeds.com. Cultivating successful growers for generations.